السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عبد الرحمن كيف الحال؟
لا يا شيخنا.
Can we go with the task إن شاء الله؟
Yes, yes.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. We are reading the tarjama of our mother al-Mu'minin Āishah radiyallahu anha. So this is tarjama to Āishah radiyallahu anha. We are reading about the life of our mother Āishah. Because the more you know about somebody, the more you love him. If you know well about someone, you love them. Because you see noble traits in them to emulate. So if the women of today know well about these persons, those women who lived with the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, we have the hope that their zeal in life will be like being better Muslims. Their zeal will be how to be better Muslims like these women of the past. It is not possible for us to say we are upon the way of the early Muslims. We don't even know how those early Muslims lived their lives. From one of the most eminent people amongst the early Muslims were the wives of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa radiyallahu anhu. And from the best amongst them, from the best amongst the wife of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and the most beloved of the women to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was Al-Mu'minin Āishah radiyallahu anha. From the major things that we had mentioned in the previous class was her marriage to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. She lived with him for 9 years, radiyallahu anha. And as Imām Adh-Dhahabi rahimahullah said, that she was afqahu nisa'il ummati ala al-itlaq. Afqahu nisa'il ummati ala al-itlaq. The most knowledgeable woman in the ummah generally. All together, put together, the entire ummah put together. Pick one woman in the history of Islam who's been more knowledgeable than the rest of the women. We shall pick Āishah radiyallahu anha. And that was from the benefits of her marriage to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That was why Imām Adh-Dhahabi said again that farawat anhu ilman kathiran طيبا مباركا فيه. Āishah radiyallahu anha reported knowledge from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, kathira, a lot of knowledge, طيبا, very nice and beneficial, mubarakan, the knowledge that she received was blessed. From the evidences of her blessed knowledge are the likes of those who have obtained knowledge from her, from amongst the Tabi'un. We see that in the history of Islam, there were very eminent scholars amongst the Tabi'un and even amongst the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who took knowledge from Āishah. So from the aspects of exposing and exploring that aspects of the students of Āishah, Imām Adh-Dhahabi mentioned some of the students of Āishah. That was what we were upon in our last class. And if we would have noticed, Imām Adh-Dhahabi Shamsuddin in Siyar A'alām An-Nubala, he has arranged the students of Āishah according to al-huruf al-hijaiyah. He arranged them according to the huruf as they have come. He started with the Hamza, and then the Ba'un, and so on, Ta'un, Tura'un, Tuha'un. If I remember vividly, we stopped at Zakwan, Mawla Āishah radiallahu anha. We said Zakwan, we are in Harfu Za, we are in Za, and that was the beginning of Zakwan. We started with Zakwan as-Samman. Zakwan as-Samman was Abu Salih Zayyat al-Zayyat al-Madani, rahimahullah, from amongst the Tabi'un. That is the father of Suhail ibn Abi Salih. Abu Salih is Zakwan as-Samman. And after him we have Zakwan Mawla Āishah radiyallahu anha. After Zakwan as-Samman, we have Zakwan Mawla Āishah radiyallahu anha. And that was Zakwan ibn Amr radiyallahu anha. Abu Amr. Zakwan Abu Amr. He used to lead Quraysh in Salah because he was very, very vast in the sciences of the Quran. As vast as he was, rahimahullah, he was from amongst the students of Āishah radiyallahu anha. We had Rabi'atu al-Hurashi. We have Rabi'a al-Hurashi. Not, we have Rabi'atu al-Jurashi with a jim, Rabi'a al-Jurashi. And Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, وَلَهُ صُحْبَةٌ. Rabi'a al-Jurashi was Rabi'a ibn Amr al-Jurashi. He was said to be one of the most learned of the people after he moved to Sham. He said, نزل الشام وكان من أفقه الناس زمن معاوية رضي الله عنه. During the time of Muawiyah رضي الله عنه, Rabi'atu al-Jurashi, one of the students of Āishah radiallahu anha, was the scholar at the time, from amongst the leading scholars, amongst the scholars of Sham at that time. We also have Zazan Abu Umar. We have Zazan Abu Umar al-Kindi. We have Zuraratu ibn Awfa, rahimahullah. We also have Zirr ibn Hubaysh. Zirr ibn Hubaysh was also from the scholars who learned from Āishah. The scholars say about Zirr ibn Hubaysh, كان من أعرب الناس وكان معمرا. Zirr ibn Hubaysh Zirr ibn Hubaysh was from amongst those who took knowledge from Āishah radiyallahu anha. وَكَانَ مُعَمَّرًا. And Zirr ibn Hubaysh was a person that Allah granted long life, rahimahullah. He was said to have lived for about 120 years. So imagine that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam married Āishah, and she was with him for 9 years, up till the time when she became 18 years. She died at age 68, meaning that after the Prophet ﷺ, she lived for 50 years, and she taught people knowledge. She had students who lived for as much as 120 years. You will see that her marriage to the Prophet ﷺ was not just a blessing for her, radiyallahu anha. It was actually a blessing for the entirety of the Ummah of Muhammad. From amongst those who took knowledge from Āishah radiallahu anha was Zayd ibn Aslam, Abu Usama al-Qurashi. Likewise, Salim ibn al-Ja'd. Salim ibn al-Ja'd, in his own case, he was said not to have met Āishah. That was why Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, وَلَمْ يَسْمَعْهَا وَلَمْ يَسْمَعَا مِنْهَا Zayd ibn Aslam and Salim ibn al-Ja'd. لَمْ يَسْمَعَا مِنْهَا. They did not hear narrations from Āishah. From amongst the students of Āishah were Zayd ibn Khalid al-Juhani. Likewise, we had Salim ibn Abdullah. That was Salim ibn Abdullah ibn Umar, one of the scholars of Medina during his time. Salim, the student of that son of Abdullah ibn Umar, was from amongst those who had learnt from Āishah radiallahu anha. Likewise, the Shaykh Salim Sabalan. Salim Sabalan was from amongst the Tabi'un. He also learnt from Āishah. Likewise, As-Sa'ib ibn Yazid, Abu Yazid al-Kufi. As-Sa'ib ibn Yazid, Abu Yazid al-Kufi, radiyallahu anhu. He was a companion of the Prophet Muhammad. Even the companions learnt and took knowledge directly from Āishah. From amongst them was As-Sa'ib ibn Yazid. And we also have Sa'd ibn Hisham and Sa'id al-Maqburi. Sa'id al-Maqburi was from amongst the students of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. Sa'id al-Maqburi, from amongst the teachers of Al-Imam al-Layth ibn Sa'd. He was also from amongst the teachers of Al-Imam Muhammad ibn Ajlan. Sa'id al-Maqburi. He was a well-known scholar of hadith. He was also from amongst the students of Āishah. Was Sa'id ibn al-As, was Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib. Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib is usually referred to as Sayyid al-Tabi'in. Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib is usually referred to as Sayyid al-Tabi'in. He was also from amongst the students of Āishah. Likewise, Sulaiman ibn Yasar was Sulaiman ibn Buraidah. Likewise, Shurayh ibn Artan. Likewise, Shurayh ibn Hani. Likewise, Shariq al-Hawzani, rahimahullah. Likewise, Shaqiq Abu Wa'il. Abu Wa'il Shaqiq was a well-known student of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. In his own case, Shaqiq Abu Wa'il, he was from amongst the Mukhadramun. The Mukhadramun are those who had accepted Islam during the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but they were not privileged to meet the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. The Mukhadramun, they accepted Islam during the time of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, but they did not meet the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. One of them was Shaqiq Abu Wa'il. Shaqiq Abu Wa'il was from amongst the students of our mother, al-Mu'minin, Āishah radiyallahu anha. Likewise, Shahr ibn Hawshab, Abu Abdurrahman. Likewise, Salih ibn Rabi'ah, rahimahullah. Likewise, Sa'tu, the uncle of Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais. Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais, he had Al-Ahnaf ibn Qais, he had an uncle, he had a niece, he had a nephew. Ahnaf ibn Qais had a nephew whose name was Sa'sa'. His name was Sa'sa'. Sa'sa'atu was from amongst the students of Āishah. Sa'sa' was Sa'sa' ibn Muawiyah. Sa'sa'atu ibn Muawiyah was a companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And even at that, Sa'sa'atu ibn Muawiyah was from amongst the students of Āishah radiyallahu anha. We also had Tawus ibn Kaysan. That is the Imam of the people of Yemen, Tawus ibn Kaysan. He was the scholar, the leading scholar of the people of Yemen. Rahimahullah. Tawus ibn Kaysan was also from the students of Āishah. وطلحة ibn Abdullah At-Taymi, وعابس ibn Rabi'a, وعاصم ibn Humayd As-Sakuni, وعامر ibn Sa'd. Amir ibn Sa'd was also from amongst them. والشعبي. As for Imam al-Sha'bi, Amir ibn Sharahil, he was a tabi'i. He was mentioned to have also taken from the knowledge of Āishah. But what appears most correct regarding Imam al-Sha'bi, Amir ibn Sharahil, was that he only took from those who took from Āishah, radiyallahu anha. Amir al-Sha'bi says, وَالشَّعْبِ rahimahullah, وعباد ibn Abdullah ibn Zubayr, وعباد ibn Abdullah ibn Zubayr, وعبادة ibn al-Walid, وعبد الله ibn Buraidah, وأبو الوليد عبد الله ibn al-Harith al-Basri, وابن الزبير ibn أختها وابن الزبير. Ibn Zubayr here is Abdullah ibn Zubayr. We all know Abdullah ibn Zubayr. That was the son of Asma'u bint Abi Bakr Siddiq. Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Abdullah ibn Zubayr is the son of Asma'u bint Abi Bakr Siddiq. It was regarding his name, Abdullah, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam chose a kunya for our mother Āishah. When our mother was called Abdullah, it is with regards to Abdullah ibn Zubayr. He literally grew under the care of Āishah, Abdullah ibn Zubayr, wa akhuhu Urwa, and that is the brother of Abdullah ibn Zubayr, Urwa ibn Zubayr. Urwa ibn Zubayr became a great scholar of fiqh and hadith. In fact, if you go to Musnad of Al-Imam Ahmad and you look at the Musnad of Āishah radiyallahu anha, you find that a lot of ahadith were reported from Āishah by Urwa ibn Zubayr. That is the younger brother of Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Wa Abdullah ibn Shaddad al-Laythi. Wa Abdullah ibn Shaqiq. Abdullah ibn Shaqiq is that eminent tabi'i. Abdullah ibn Shaqiq. وعبد الله بن شهاب الخولاني وعبد الله بن عامر ابن ربيعة وابن عمر. Abdullah ibn Umar also took knowledge from Āishah. So that was why you would find Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi rahimahullah saying that أفقه نساء الأمة على الإطلاق عائشة. أفقه نساء الأمة على الإطلاق عائشة. The most learned in the sciences of the religion amongst the women in this ummah. The first of them is Āishah. He also said, Rawat anhu ilman kathira. Āishah reported a lot of knowledge from the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. Ilman kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fihi. A lot of knowledge, tayyiban, that was beneficial, mubarakan fihi, and that became a means of a lot of blessings. Her knowledge was blessings for her and blessings for the entirety of the ummah. If the likes of Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhum. So you can see Abdullah ibn Umar took knowledge from Āishah. His son Salim took knowledge from Āishah radiyallahu anha. Abdullah ibn Zubayr took knowledge from Āishah radiyallahu anha. And the likes of Al-Imam Amir ibn Sharahil al-Sha'bi took knowledge from Āishah. And there is no doubt that the knowledge that she took from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was ilman tayyiban mubarakan fihi, was ilman tayyiban, was a blessed knowledge, was a beneficial knowledge. If the likes of Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhum all took knowledge from Āishah radiyallahu anha. So after mentioning Abdullah ibn Umar, Al-Imam Adh-Dhahabi mentioned further, he said, وَابْنَ Abbas, radiyallahu anhum. Abdullah ibn Abbas also reported and learned from Āishah, radiyallahu anha. وعبد الله ibn Farrukh, وعبد الله ibn Abi Mulaykah, وعبد الله ibn Ubaidah ibn Umayr, وأبوه. So we have Abdullah ibn Ubaid ibn Umayr and his father, Ubaid ibn Umayr. They were both from amongst the students of Āishah. وعبدالله ibn Ukaym, وعبدالله ibn Abi Qais, وابن أخيها. Likewise, the two sons of her brother. The first of them, Abdullah and Al-Qasim. Abdullah was the son of Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr as-Siddiq. We remember that on the day the Prophet was going for Hajj, when they were at Dhul Hulayfa, when they were at the miqat of the people of Medina. What is it called? The miqat of the people of Medina. What is it called? The miqat of the people of Medina. What is it called? At the miqat, Asma'u Fatima bint Qais, the daughter of the wife of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, gave birth to a child. And she was asking the wife of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, gave birth to a child. That child was named Muhammad. He now has two children, Abdullah and Al-Qasim. He had Abdullah and Al-Qasim. They were both from the children of Muhammad. Al-Qasim became from amongst the Fuqaha al-Sab'ah of Al-Madinah, rahimahumullah. Wa Abdullah ibn Abi Atiq ibn Akhiha Abdur-Rahman. Likewise, Abu Atiq Muhammad ibn Akhiha Abdur-Rahman. Abdur-Rahman, the brother of Āishah, radiyallahu anha, had a son called Abu Atiq Muhammad. This Abu Atiq, he has a son called Abdullah. That Abdullah, the son of Abu Atiq Muhammad, who is the son of Abdurrahman, the brother of Āishah. All of these people came from amongst the students of Āishah. Wa Abdullah ibn Waqid al-Umari. Wa Radi'uha Abdullah ibn Yazid. Abdullah ibn Yazid was a companion of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Abdullah ibn Yazid. He was a companion. Yet he took knowledge from Āishah. And he is Radi'u Āishah. That is, he was breastfed by the same foster mother who breastfed Āishah. Meaning that our mother Āishah, she also has a foster mother who breastfed her. And from amongst those who were breastfed together with her was Abdullah ibn Yazid, radiyallahu anhu. Wa Abdullah al-Bahi, Abdullah al-Bahi, Abu Muhammad, Abdullah al-Bahi, Abu Muhammad. He also took knowledge from Āishah. Wa Abdurrahman ibn al-Aswad, wa Abdurrahman ibn al-Harith ibn Hisham, wa Abdurrahman ibn Sa'id ibn Wahb al-Hamdani, wa Abdurrahman ibn Shumasa, wa Abdurrahman ibn Abdullah ibn Thabit al-Jumahi, wa Abdul Aziz Walid ibn Jurayj. We have from amongst the scholars of Makkah, his name was Al-Imam ibn Jurayj, Abdul Malik ibn Abdul Aziz. Abdul Malik ibn Abdul Aziz ibn Jurayj. His father, Abdul Aziz, was from amongst the students of Āishah, radiyallahu anha. Wa Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah, wa Ubaydullah ibn Iyad, wa Iraq, wa lam yalqah. Iraq was from amongst the students, but it was said that what happened was he took her knowledge from those who had learnt from her. وعروة المزني وعطاء ابن أبي رباح وعطاء ابن يسار. عطاء ibn Abi Rabah was from amongst the scholars of Makkah. During his time, when Abdullah ibn Abbas would come for Hajj and people asked him questions regarding Hajj, he would refer to Ata'u ibn Abi Rabah. This Ata'u was from the students of Āishah radiyallahu anha, wa Ata'u ibn Yasar, wa Ikrimah, Imam Ikrimah al-Barbari. I would like to say that if no woman taught the men of this ummah anything apart from Āishah, I think it suffices, radiyallahu anha. She's representative of the women in this ummah in terms of knowledge, in terms of piety, and in terms of all of what we shall soon come to read and know about her, radiyallahu anha. These were the great scholars and the ai of this ummah who were from amongst the students of Āishah radiyallahu anha. So we have Ata'u ibn Abi Rabah, we have Ata'u ibn Yasar, we have Ikrimah al-Barbari, we have Al-Qamah, we also have Al-Imam Al-Qamah ibn Waqqas, wa Ali ibn Hussein, wa Amr ibn Sa'id al-Ashdaq, wa Amr ibn Sharhabil, wa Amr ibn Ghalib, wa Amr ibn Maymun, wa Imran ibn Hittan. Imran ibn Hittan, Allah al-Mustan, he later became a misguided person who used to abuse the companions of the Prophet. Imran ibn Hittan, may Allah protect us. He became misguided and later on began to abuse the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. He even used to write poems to abuse the companions. What happened to him in his case was he became married to one of his distant cousins who was from amongst the Khawarij. When he was warned regarding her, he was saying the people should not bother, that he was going to change her to become a righteous person. Unfortunately, he became changed. Imran ibn Hittan, he was very learned, but he became a person who went astray because of the wife that he married. May Allah protect us. Wa'awf ibn al-Harith, radi'uha. From amongst those who were breastfed, who had the same foster mother with Āishah, radiyallahu anha, was Auf ibn al-Harith, radiyallahu anhu, wa Iyad ibn Urwa, wa Isa ibn Talha, wa Gudayf ibn al-Harith, wa Farwat ibn Nawfal, والقعقاع ابن حكيم قعقاع ابن حكيم رضي الله عنهم وقيس ابن أبي حازم قيس ابن أبي حازم was from amongst the noble scholars of this ummah, yet he was from amongst the students of Āishah. وكثير ibn Ubayd al-Kufi, like we had mentioned of Abdullah ibn Yazid, like we had mentioned of Auf ibn al-Harith, from amongst those who had the same foster mother with Āishah was Kathir ibn Ubayd. Now we have mentioned three persons who shared foster mothers with Āishah. The first of them we mentioned was Abdullah ibn Yazid, radiyallahu anhu. Likewise, Kathir ibn Ubayd is the last we have mentioned. Before Kathir ibn Ubayd, we mentioned Auf ibn al-Harith. All of them, they sucked from the same woman who had provided breast milk to Āishah, apart from Āishah's mother, Ummu Ruman. So they were also breastfed by the woman who provided breast milk to Āishah. Radiyallahu anhu, wa Qurayb, wa Malik ibn Abi Amir, wa Mujahid. Mujahid was Mujahid ibn Jabr al-Makki, one of the scholars of Makkah. Mujahid ibn Jabr was from among the students of Abdullah ibn Abbas. He also took knowledge from Āishah radiyallahu anha. Wa Muhammad ibn Ibrāhīm At-Taymi in kana laqiyaha. If Ibrahim At-Taymi, there was a doubt, was he really present taking her knowledge, or he took from those who took from her? That is Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, wa Muhammad ibn al-Ashraf, wa Muhammad ibn Ziyad al-Jumahi, wa ibn Sirin. Al-Imam ibn Sirin was also from the scholars who took knowledge from Āishah. Wa Muhammad ibn Abdur-Rahman ibn al-Harith ibn Hisham, wa Abu Ja'far al-Baqir, wa lam yalqaha. Abu Ja'far al-Baqir did not meet Āishah, but he took from those who had learnt from Āishah. Wa Muhammad ibn Qais ibn Makhrama, wa Muhammad ibn al-Muntashir, wa Muhammad ibn al-Munkadir, wa ka'annahu mursalun. Muhammad ibn al-Munkadir and Āishah radiyallahu anha, ka'annahu mursal. What appears apparent, and Allah knows best, was that Muhammad ibn al-Munkadir only took from those who took from Āishah. He did not directly take knowledge from Āishah. Wa Marwan al-Uqayli Abu Lubaba, wa Masruq ibn al-Ajda' was from amongst the students of Āishah. We will still come back to the people like this. Masruq and his relationship and how he took knowledge from Āishah. We will still come back to these issues, inshallah, and make benefits from them. ومسدع أبو يحيى ومطرف ابن الشخير. مطرف ابن الشخير رحمه الله. ومقسم ومولى ابن عباس. مقسم مولى ابن عباس. والمطلب ابن عبد الله ابن حنطب. ومقحول. Al-Imam Maqhul was the leading scholar of the people of Sham. So they will say regarding him that Maqhul al-Shami, but Al-Imam Adh-Dhahabi said, rahimahullah, lam yalqaha. Maqhul al-Shami did not directly report from Āishah. He did not meet her. Wa Musa ibn Talha, wa Maymun ibn Abi Shabib, wa Maymun ibn Mihran. Maymun ibn Mihran was an eminent tabi. We read a lot from him, rahimahullah. Wa Nafi' ibn Jubair, wa Nafi' ibn Ata, Nafi' ibn Ata, wa Nafi' al-Umari, wa Nu'man ibn Bashir. Nu'man ibn Bashir is a well-known companion. He was a young person, but he still learned from Āishah. I'm sure most of what will come to the minds of the women at a time like this is, how did these men acquire knowledge from Āishah? All these are Imam. How did they acquire knowledge from her? Radiyallahu anha. And she was always in her home, because Allah had told the wives of the Prophet and the rest of the Muslim women that وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ, stay in your homes. Sit tight in your homes. Even regarding Salah. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, in a hadith collected by Imam al-Bukhari, he had said to the women that وَبُيُوتُهُنَّ خَيْرٌ لَهُنَّ بُيُوتُ النِّسَاءِ وَبُيُوتُهُنَّ خَيْرٌ لَهُنَّ. So when Āishah radiyallahu anha was always in her home, how was it that these men were taking knowledge from her? Bi-idhnillah, we shall come back to these issues in greater details. وميمون ابن مهران ونافع ابن جبير ونافع ابن عطاء ونافع العمري والنعمان ابن بشير وهمام ابن الحارث وهلال ابن يساف ويحيى ابن الجزار ويحيى ابن عبد الرحمن ابن حاطب ويحيى ابن يعمر ويزيد ابن بنوس ويزيد ابن الشخير ويعلى ابن عقبة ويوسف ابن ماهك وأبو أمامة ابن سهل وأبو بردة ابن أبي موسى. Abu Burda is the son of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. Abu Burda was the son of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. that eminent companion, radiyallahu anhu. Abu Burda was also from the students of Āishah, radiyallahu anha. Wa Abu Bakr ibn Abdur-Rahman ibn al-Harith. Wa Abu al-Jawza al-Rabai. Abu al-Jawza al-Rabai. They were from the students of Āishah. Wa Abu Hudhayfata al-Arbahi. Wa Abu Hafsa Mawlaha. From her freed slaves, radiyallahu anha, our mother Āishah had Abu Hafsa. From amongst her freed slaves was Abu Hafsa. We'd mentioned one of her freed slaves too, Zakwan, Mawla Āishah. Here we are mentioning Abu Hafsa, Mawla Āishah, radiyallahu anha. Wa Abu Zubayr al-Makki, wa ka'annahu mursal. Abu Zubayr al-Makki, his name was Muhammad ibn Muslim. Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Tadrus was from amongst the students of Āishah. He was commonly known with the eminent companion Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari radiyallahu anhu, Abu Zubayr al-Makki. But Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, وَكَأَنَّهُ مُرْسَلٌ. It appears as if the report of Abu Zubayr al-Makki from Āishah is mursal, meaning that he only took the knowledge from those who had taken from Āishah. He was not there directly to learn from Āishah. Wa Abu Salama ibn Abdurrahman ibn Auf. Abu Salama, the son of Abdurrahman ibn Auf, was from amongst the students of Āishah. Wa Abu Sha'fa al-Muharibi. Wa Abu Siddiq al-Naji. Wa Abu Zabiyan al-Janabi. Wa Abu al-Aliyah. Rufayya al-Riyahi. Abu al-Aliyah was an eminent from amongst the scholars amongst the Tabi'un. Abu al-Aliyah. In fact, if you read all of these names, you'll be wondering who then is remaining from amongst the scholars amongst the Tabi'un and those who were younger ones amongst the companions, the Sahaba, who did not take knowledge from Āishah. If you say the younger companions who later became scholars in the Ummah, you will mention Abdullah ibn Umar, you mention Abdullah ibn Zubayr, you mention Nu'man ibn Bashir. Yet all of these people were from the companions, and they were still from amongst the students of our mother Āishah, radiyallahu anha. Wa Abu Ubaidah ibn Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Abu Ubaidah ibn Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. He was also from amongst the scholars of this ummah. Abu Ubaidah, the son of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, radiyallahu anhu. Wa Abu Uthman al-Nahdi. Abu Uthman al-Nahdi. Wa Abu Atiyata al-Wadi'i. Wa Abu Kilaba al-Jarmi. Wa lam yalqaha. As for Abu Kilaba al-Jarmi, he did not meet Āishah. Wa Abu al-Mulayh al-Hudhali. Wa Abu Musa. That is Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. These are elders now amongst the companions. Wa Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu also learned from Āishah. From those who took from the knowledge of Āishah was who? Abu Hurairah. So we would understand that statement of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari we had read. When he said, radiyallahu anhu, ما أشكل علينا أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم حديث قط فسألنا عائشة رضي الله عنها إلا وجدنا عندها منه علما ما أشكل علينا أصحاب رسول الله حديث قط. No hadith became problematic to us, we the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فَسَأَلْنَا عَائِشَةَ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهَا. And then we come to ask Āishah about it. إِلَّا وَجَدْنَا عِنْدَهَا مِنْهُ عِلْمًا. Except that we find that she has some knowledge about it. That hadith occurs in the Sunan of Al-Imām At-Tirmidhi. So if you find the same Abu Musa being enlisted from amongst the students of Āishah, we will not be surprised. But from amongst the biggest of them was Abu Hurairah Hafiz al-Ummah, Abdurrahman ibn Sakhr radiyallahu anhu. وأبو نوفل ابن أبي أقرب وأبو يونس مولاها أبو يونس. So we add it from those who were her freed slave, from her mawali, from the freed slaves of Āishah radiyallahu anha, was who? Abu Yunus. From the freed slaves of Āishah was who? Abu Yunus. وَبُهَيَّةٌ مَوْلَى الصِّدِّيقِ. Buhayyatu, this is a female now. Buhayyatu, the freed slave of As-Siddiq, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, radiyallahu anhu. وَجَسْرَةُ بِنْتُ دَجَاجَةَ. Jasratu bintu Dajaja. She learned from Āishah. She has a very important hadith that she has reported from Āishah. وَحَفْصَةُ بِنْتُ أَخِيهَا Abdurrahman. Her brother Abdurrahman had a daughter called Āishah, Hafsa. That Hafsa also was from amongst the students of Āishah. وَخَيْرَ وَالِدَةُ الْحَسَنِ الْبَصْرِ. خَيْرَ. The mother of Al-Imam Al-Hasan Al-Basri, Khayra, was from amongst the students of our mother Āishah. وَذِفْرَةُ بِنْتُ غَالِبٍ. Zifra bintu Ghalib. وَزَيْنَبْ بِنْتُ Abi Salama. We remember that Abu Salama had some kids he had left behind. From amongst them was the woman called Zainab bintu Abi Salama. وَزَيْنَبُ بِنْتُ Nasr. وزينب السهمية وسمية البصرية وشميسة العتكية. شميسة العتكية was from amongst those who were the students of Āishah radiyallahu anha. Shumaysa radiyallahu anha. Shumaysa al-Atakiyah. وصفية بنت شيبة. Safiya bint Shayba. She has a very important hadith also regarding the nifas of women and even what happens after nifas. Radiyallahu anhum. We also have Safiya bint Abi Ubaid and Āishah bint Talha. Āishah bint Talha stayed a long time with Āishah radiyallahu anha. We will find her ahadith as we read along this book, inshallah. Some of the events between Āishah bint Talha and our mother Āishah radiyallahu anha bint Siddiq. Wa Amra bint Abdurrahman. Amratu bint Abdurrahman. Wa Marjana. Marjana. These are from the women who were from the students of Āishah and who reported documented knowledge. Who are those who have reported? I heard Āishah. I listened to Āishah explaining. I heard an explanation of a verse. I asked Āishah about this and she told me that the Prophet said this. Who are those who have said this kind of things from Āishah? Reporting and transmitting knowledge they had learned from her. These are those that we list here. Walidatu Marjana was the mother of Alqama ibn Abi Alqama. We also have Mu'adhatu al-Adawiyya and Kulthum at-Taymiyatu ukhtuha. Kulthum at-Taymiyya. We remember that when Abu Bakr as-Siddiq passed away, his wife was pregnant of Kulthum. His wife was pregnant of Kulthum. That was the Kulthum, the daughter of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, that Umar radiyallahu anhu wanted to marry. Umar radiyallahu anhu wanted to marry this woman, Kulthum at-Taymiyya. But she gave a complaint that Umar is tough. And then Ali said radiyallahu anhu, take my own Kulthum. So Umar radiyallahu anhu, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, he married the daughter of Ali ibn Abi Talib, whose name was Kulthum, when Kulthum at-Taymiyya the daughter of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, had refused to marry him. وأم محمد امرأة والد علي ibn Zayd ibn Jud'an. Ali ibn Zayd ibn Jud'an had a wife. His wife was from among those who took and conveyed knowledge from Āishah. وطائفة سوى هؤلاء, and many others. طائفة سوى هؤلاء, and many others apart from all of these that we had mentioned. And that was why Imām Adh-Dhahabi rahimahullah, as we had mentioned earlier, when he described the knowledge of Āishah, he would say, أفقه نساء الأمة على الإطلاق. The most knowledgeable of the women in the entirety of this ummah was Āishah. You could see the cream of excellence that made those who transmitted knowledge from her. Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Zubayr, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Nu'man ibn Bashir, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, Abu Huraira, radiyallahu anhum, Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, As-Sa'ib ibn Yazid. These are eminent scholars, Al-Hasan al-Basri. And then the women too, who formed the cream of those who conveyed knowledge from Āishah. And that was why Imām Adh-Dhahabi, as we had said earlier, he said from the very beginning, Rawat anhu ilman kathira. Āishah radiyallahu anha reported a lot of knowledge from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. All of these great men of knowledge in this ummah will not assemble under the feet of Āishah to take from her knowledge if she was not so knowledgeable. Radiyallahu anha. This is where bi'idhnillah will stop today. We have been able to go through a general mentioning of some of the students of Āishah radiyallahu anha. Those who have been documented to have reported from her genuine sound knowledge from this religion, they are mentioned to be about 350. But some of them have been mentioned here bi'idhnillah by Imām Adh-Dhahabi rahimahullah. We'll stop here bi'idhnillah today, and we'll continue about the narrations regarding Āishah radiyallahu anha from our subsequent class, inshallah. I'm sure the bulk of us will want to know, how was it that Āishah radiyallahu anha was able to teach these men? Don't forget that Allah had commanded her and the rest of the women, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ, stay in your homes. So Āishah was not going about. You will hardly find, if at all you find, a single report that Āishah radiallahu anha sat down in the masjid to teach all these men. No. Whenever they wanted to acquire knowledge from her, they went to meet her in her house, radiallahu anha. And we know if you come to the house of Āishah, you can only speak to her from behind the veil. So if you, woman, you want to say, Āishah was the student, was the teacher of Abdullah ibn Abbas, follow the conditions. Don't employ Āishah as an example for your own misdemeanor. Our mother Āishah radiyallahu anha did all of these from right inside her home, radiyallahu anha. Our mother Āishah radiyallahu anha had these men imagined from her as scholars from right inside her home. Bi'idhnillah, as we read on, we'll find some of these incidences. Whenever they had anything, they went to her. Sometimes she would invite them, come. And then she explains to them, the Prophet said this, alayhi salatu wasalam. But whenever they asked, I have an issue, they went to her. Whenever perhaps she even moves on the road, people ask her. There were events like this. If you go to Musnad of Imam Ahmad, you will see this. But that Āishah came to a masjid to sit down in a masjid to say she's teaching men, this kind of a thing does not exist. Don't employ Āishah's being a teacher of men as a means of coming out in the public to expose yourself indecently in the name of teaching the religion as Āishah taught, radiallahu anha. Don't do that in the name of teaching the religion as Āishah had taught. No. She was decently in her homes. Allah had commanded her, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ. Allah also told the men, وَإِذَا سَأَلْتُمُهُنَّ مَتَاعًا فَاسْأَلُوهُنَّ مِنْ وَرَاءِ الْحِجَابِ. If you want to speak regarding anything to the wives of the messenger, speak to them from behind the veil. So the women who became to follow in the line of Āishah, who became so knowledgeable, that was how they taught the men, from behind the veil. But the women came to the masjid to say, oh no, let us now be explaining. No, they were not doing that. Or the way many of the women we do on YouTube today come in the public like this, Āishah would not do that. Radiyallahu anha. So don't employ the benefits of knowledge by men from Āishah. And don't forget, the knowledge they went to take from Āishah was knowledge they could not have taken from anybody else. The knowledge that these men had to take from Āishah was a knowledge that nobody else could have said that to them. So if you become so knowledgeable amongst the women that you have a knowledge that no man had, nobody had that knowledge, then the men will come to you, and then the limits of the Sharia regarding obtaining knowledge from you will be followed, such as speaking from you from behind the veil. But that a woman comes out in the YouTube, start talking, addressing men and women, this was not from the way of our mother Āishah, radiyallahu anha. I think we can stop here, inshallah, so that we can take a few questions before we call it a day about Rahman. Ameen.
The first question here states, how do I start? What do I take to get so as to emulate Āishah radiyallahu anha in a fast level, so as to also become a blessing woman before Allah take my soul, even though I'm approaching 40 years?
May Allah make it easy for you. Don't forget, even the father of Āishah, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, they were even just around 42 when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came to them. So if you are 40, it's not late at all. If you are 40, it's not late at all. May Allah make it easy for you. So the first thing you have to pay attention to are two things together. The first thing you have to pay attention to are two things together. And then a third thing. Two things together and a third thing. Let's say three things together. The first of the three things you have to pay attention to is learning the Quran. The first of the three things you have to pay attention to is what? Learning the Quran. The second thing you have to pay attention to is what? Learning the Arabic language, which is the language of the Deen. The first thing you have to pay attention to is what? Learning the Quran. The second thing you pay attention to is what? Learning the language of the Quran, Arabic. And the third thing you have to pay attention to is learning the Aqidah of Islam and the Ibadah of Islam, the Deen generally. You learn about Iman. As you learn the Quran, as you learn Arabic, you learn the belief of Islam, the Muslims, the creed, the Aqidah of Islam. You learn the Ibadah of Islam. The Ibadah of Islam such as As-Salat, such as As-Siyam, such as As-Zakawat, and all of these connected to them, issues related to them, you learn them. And then you learn the manners of Islam. You learn the Deen generally. You learn the Aqidah of Islam. You learn the Ibadah of Islam. You learn the adab of Islam. There are many Muslims who don't know the manners of Islam. How does a Muslim conduct himself? They don't know. So they behave like non-Muslims. So you learn these as a whole subject on its own. Three things. The first thing, you learn the Quran. You learn Arabic. Then you learn the general rulings of the religion, such as learning the creed, the Aqidah of Islam, learning the Ibadah of Islam, learning the mu'amalat, how do you relate to the people and transact to the people. Likewise, you learn the adab of Islam. What are the issues of conduct and manners that Islam has established for us. These are the four things you learn. You cannot now learn these four things without a teacher. So you need a teacher. Look for a teacher, look for a madrasa. Look for a teacher, capable person of sunnah, and then you look for perhaps a madrasa. If it's a madrasa, attend a good madrasa of sunnah. These are the three things they will pay attention to. They will pay attention to the deen generally. They will teach you the creed, the aqidah. They will teach you ibadah. They will teach you mu'amalat. They will teach you adab. 4 things. Make one. They expose you to the religion generally. Then they teach you Arabic. You gradually begin to grow in the language with which you will explore the literature of the religion. And then you also learn the Quran. With the Quran, your ibadah will be, the Quran is the lubricant for your ibadah in Islam. Without the Quran, ibadah is difficult. Worship is difficult. Knowing the religion is difficult. So these are the things that you pay attention to. And Āishah radiallahu anha attained mastery in all of these. She perfected the recitals of the Quran and the meaning of the Quran. She was also well-grounded radiallahu anha in the matters of the creed, the matters of Iman in our religion. Likewise, you find her in a lot of issues regarding the mu'amalat and the adab of Islam. You see a lot of narrations from her. She reported from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and a lot of lessons that are mawkufat also from her that she taught to the people that she became exposed to. Radiallahu anhu. I hope that that response is clear-cut and direct regarding that question, inshallah. There's a question here, Abu Abdurrahman. What advice do you have for us to create a community where we advise young sisters and upcoming mothers on how uplifted they are as Muslims, also on Seerah and other beneficial works of the scholars relating to women, and also discuss contemporary issues on what women go through in our modern society. Women, if you have acquired knowledge, you know Quran, you know Tajweed, you know Tafsir, you know Lugha Arabiya, Nahwu, Sarf, Balaga, the women can come and learn from you as a person. You are learned, women should come and learn from you. You are learned, women should come and learn from you. What do they want to learn? They want to learn the Quran. In the Quran, what do they want to learn? They want to learn the Tajweed, how to recite the Quran correctly. They want to memorize as much as Allah permits. They also want to know the meanings of the Quran. This is the meaning of knowledge in Islam. Second to this, they want to know the language of the religion. Arabic language as a language. Also, they want to become generally exposed to the religion. They want to learn books of Aqidah. They want to learn books of Ibadah. They want to learn books on Mu'amala. They want to learn books on Adab. If you are knowledgeable regarding any one of these fields, women will come to you, they will learn, and they will go away. But in the name of just gathering young girls, no, don't do that. Go and learn first, you. Go and acquire the knowledge. Then let the women come and learn from you. But let's just be gathering women, be gathering young girls. Let the men, the heads of the home, take charge of the learning of their girls. Fathers, be responsible. Take charge of the Islamic learning of your girls. Look for well-learned people to give them, scholars to teach them, men, scholars to teach them, or women, if they are scholars. But just gathering in the name of gathering young girls, please leave these ones aside. We are the ones who started these things. Our religion was not upon gathering. We pick a book, let's just be reading like that. We don't know who is the teacher. We don't know who is the scholar amongst us. Let it be clearly defined. Women can go to a woman who is attained scholarship and learn from her knowledge, just as they would learn from a male learned and pious person, inshallah, within the limits of the Sharia. But that women are just gathering, young mothers, young this, we want to tell them what's happening in society. Don't get busy. Don't get young girls busy with this for the sake of Allah. The young girls should go and acquire the knowledge directly from the scholars. Don't just get them busy with we are just gathering young girls. We are just gathering young women, young mothers. We want to tell them what's happening in society. You yourself, you need the time to pay good attention to learning yourself. Learn the Quran, learn Tajweed, learn Tafsir, all in Arabic. Learn the Arabic language itself. Perfect it. And then young girls can come and learn the language from you. They can come and learn the Quran from you. They can come and learn Tafsir from you. They can come and learn Aqidah from you. They can come and learn Salat from you. It can only be the Salat or every hadith concerning the Salat. From Takbiratul Ihram to Taslim. You know every hadith. You compile it. You can teach them and perfect the Salah of young girls. You can teach them the rulings concerning menstruation and leave them to go. But say, let's just be gathering young girls. Yeah, we want to tell them about society. Please don't get young people engaged with things like this. May Allah protect us. I hope that is clear, inshallah, Abu Abdurrahman.
Naam, ya Shaykhana. Salawatullahi alayhi.
Ameen, ameen. There's a question here, I think it has come from a man. Are those companion students to our mother Āishah, or they benefited from her knowledge by taking some ahadith from her? These are the kind of things that we do in our own time. In the early times, if you take one harf from a person, you are his student. One harf, not a hadith fully. Just one harf. This is what the ulama say. Al-Imām Ahmad rahimahullah said this. Man allamani harfan. If you teach me one harf, sirtu lahu abdan. I become your slave. So they took knowledge from her. Rawaw anha. They reported knowledge from her. Our teacher Āishah. That's what they become. So these days people learn even books from people they are shy to ascribe themselves and say, so and so person is my teacher regarding this. So and so is my teacher regarding this. They were the students of Āishah. They were her talamis. This is how they are counted. They have her talami, how they reported her knowledge. They listened to her. They learned from her. When Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, as was reported by Imām At-Tirmidhi, said that the companions would not find a hadith troublesome, except that they went to her to seek for clarification. When they went to seek clarifications and explanations and further knowledge from Āishah, what would they become after that? What do they become? They become from her students who take from her knowledge. Radiyallahu anhum. And it is well known, we shall come back to narrations regarding this. Āishah radiyallahu anha had regular classes. In fact, she had something she used to do. Al-Imam al-Aswad ibn al-Masruq, ibn al-Ajda, and the like of al-Aswad, there were some of the eminent tabi'un who did something very, very strange. I hope that Bismillah will come across some of these reports. Āishah radiallahu anha has an opinion regarding Rada'atul Kabir. Rada'atul Kabir is that a man who is already matured will be provided breast milk by a woman. The already matured man will take that breast milk, and then the matured woman who provided this matured man the breast milk, perhaps in a container and so on, the man becomes her mahram, as if she was a foster mother to him. Our mother Āishah radiallahu anha has that opinion. That hadith occurs in Sahih Muslim. Her opinion regarding Rada'atul Kabir. So she used to provide milk to some men through Asma. Asma was having children, but our mother wasn't. So if Asma would be to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the sister of Āishah, provides a man breast milk, and the man drinks it, this man becomes a mahram to our mother Asma, like a foster son, becomes a foster son, and our mother Āishah becomes a foster aunt. A foster aunt to that person, meaning that that person becomes a mahram who can come to her house like her own son. like Abdullah ibn Zubayr, like Urwa. So there were some amongst the Tabi'un who did that so that to be able to consistently learn and take hadith and take knowledge and take fiqh and take guidance and learn shi'r and learn adab and learn even aqidah from our mother Āishah. So to say these people were students of Āishah or they just took knowledge of hadith, whichever one you want to take. If they had only taken one statement of a hadith from the Prophet from her, they have learned from her and they are her students. If they have taken all the entirety hadith in Sahih Bukhari from her, they have learned from her and they are her students. If you do that to anybody too, whoever you go to, you ask him regarding a matter of knowledge, and he explains it to you, he's your teacher. Let us take this. You go to someone, or you call someone, please, what is this, what is this? And he's explaining to you. He becomes your teacher regarding that matter. So when his students are counted, you are counted from them. We are just in the generation of empty arrogance amongst people who take knowledge from the people of knowledge. May Allah forgive and protect all of us. So all these people were from the students of Āishah. And this is how the ulama see them. So they will count them all from her talamīz, from her students, from those who took knowledge from her. I hope that this is clear, Abu Abdurrahman. Abu Abdurrahman.
نعم شيخنا جزاكم الله خير.
Ameen Abu Amir. You have a question with you?
Unfortunately, I don't have access to the...
Okay, can we stop it here? We already passed the time.
نعم جزاكم الله خير شيخ.
I mean, was the last response clear regarding that question?
Absolutely, yes. نعم.
Inshallah. Alhamdulillah. So we can stop here until we come back in the next class, next Juma, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.